Good early morning, YouTube, and welcome back. The very first thing we're going to do is go up at the very top, click right below the first region, come all the way down to the bottom, go right above the last region after the console.read key, click, hold Control, quickly press, while holding Control, press KC. Now we have one giant comment, or one giant region, and there we are. Just kind of shortening the code up and freeing up some valuable space. So the next thing we're going to talk about why ain't that working? Oh. There we are. We're going to talk about operands. Where was I? So I know where we stop. Okay. So, everybody likes math, right? Right. Well, I like math. For the most part. But if you don't like math... oh, excuse me. It's time to learn some math. So, in C#, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus operands. And by operands, I mean like plus, minus, just symbols that are dedicated to certain things. So let's go ahead and kind of start this. We're going to use an int x, and then we're going to use an int y. So all we need is two variables here. Now I'm going to do a simple little thing here. I'm going to do a random number real quick. And then x equals rnd.next, numbers between 1 and 50. Let's go 1 and 25 and 25 to 50. And that'll give us two random numbers. So if I do console.writeLine x and y, this will give us two random numbers, 47 and 17. But each time we run it, it'll be different. So, maybe that's a bad idea. But we're going to go ahead and use those anyway. I think it was 47 and 15. So we have our two values. Now at the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and do a console.read key. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to create an int, and it's going to be I. Actually, let's do two numbers that will divide well together. No, I think this will be fine. and I'll show you as we go. So first let's start with arithmetic. And by arithmetic I mean add, subtract, multiply, divide, modulus, increment, and decrement. And there's going to be some things you haven't seen yet that we're going to end up doing here in a little while. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to go well, actually, I'm going to go ahead and create a new method real quick. I know we haven't talked about this, but it'll make sense later. And inside this, I'm going to write a console.writeLine. And a console.readKey. Now, back up here, I am going to delete this one because I won't need it. And I can just do a sum I. Let's make this equal 0. And I'm going to cut this so we can paste it. Okay. So to get these things to work, all you have to do for, like, say, add, and actually what we can do is go string str equals nothing, no, let's not do that. Okay, so here, well, basically what it's doing is it's I equals x plus y. So what it's doing is it's taking 15 plus 47 and storing the sum into I. And if we paste this down here, it's going to send the value of I, to the method called sum. And then it's going to print I and wait for us to press a key. So if we go ahead and hit this button, we hit start, you can see that it equaled 62. Now, and actually what I can do is, instead of putting this here, I'm going to set this down at the very bottom. And I'm going to comment these out. I mean, adding is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, if we had another variable, int z equals 10, all you have to do is just add z on there, and it'll equal 72. So it's pretty self-explanatory here. Let's go 45. I'm going to change that one to 5. For a reason later on down the road. So now we have 65 as our answer. So I'm going to comment this out, which I don't have to, because as long as I keep replacing I with a value, this value will disappear and this one will take its place. So now subtraction, if I go I equals x minus y, now it's going to take the values 15 and it's going to subtract 45 from it. So we're going to get a negative number. So we'll hit start and we get negative 30. So obviously, if you switch these, we're going to get 30. We go ahead and get rid of z up here. We're going to try and stick with this one as much as possible. But as you can see, it replaced the value of I when we did this arithmetic down here. So anything above this won't matter, above the most recent one that we do. So now if we do I equals x multiplied by y, which is the asterisk key, it actually looks like a snowflake on here. We start and we get 675. But now what happens when we divide? If we divide 15 by 45, we're going to get a decimal number. So now when we hit start, we get 0 because we have an integer. Now if we had a double, we'll call it a double D, and we divide it, we get 675. Oh. And we send D into here. And then we do another console.writeLine. Now the second value we get is going to be D, which is 0 again. Oh. I'm messing up somewhere, because we kept getting 0. Oh, that's because they're ints. I wonder if we can convert it on the fly. Nope, we can't. That's weird. Okay, well, we're not going to worry about doubles then. But you can see what an integer gives you when you divide a number and get a decimal value. If it's lower than your starting number. Let's change this to 7. Okay, so now if we divide z, so it's 45 divided by 5, we get an error. Oh, my bad. Which we get 0. So if we go y divided by z, and I know why, we get 9. But now if we do t, so it's 45 divided by t, or by 7, we get 6, even though it's supposed to be a decimal. So you can kind of see what it's doing. Now, here's the thing. So we have y divided by x, we get 3. Now, we know it's 3 something, because it's no, it's actually not. It is actually 45. Okay, fine, let's do t. So that's 6. So 7 and 6 is 42, with a remainder of 3. Now if we do the same thing down here on modulus, I equals y modulus t, this is going to return the remainder that this one was missing, which was 3. Because 7 times 6 plus 3 is 45. Now let's talk about increments. And we're going to use t for this one. So if I do, no, we can use I, but we have to reevaluate I to 0. Maybe not 0. We'll say 1. We'll say, let's do 10. Okay, so if we do I plus plus, it's going to increment the number I by 1, so the answer to this would be 11. Now, if we comment this out real quick, and we do a I minus minus, we're going to decrement by 1, meaning we're going to go down a number to 9. So if I would have left this to show you how it carries on, this incremented up to 11, this decremented down to 9, so 10 minus 1 is going to be, or 11 minus 1 is going to be 10. Because it went up one value and then back down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and comment all of these out. And to make it easier, click here. Come up to this one, Control KC, and now they're all gone. We're also going to take these values, I'm going to copy them, go Control KC, and we're good there. Alright, so that's it for arithmetic. Actually, we don't need to do that. So if you still have them highlighted, go Control KU, and you will highlight them. That's the shortcut keys for commenting. So we're done with arithmetic. Now relational. Can't really sorry. Sorry. My throat hurts. Okay. So with relational, I can't really do these because they're not, they only really work on if statements. So I guess I can do that real quick. I'll just write a quick if statement. No. Yeah, I can. Okay, so we'll leave these up here. And we'll do a bool j. We will comment this one out. And I'll do a console.writeLine j. So this is gonna print true or false this time, which j doesn't equal anything yet, so we can do a null value. No, we can't. We can just leave it like this for right now, because if I come down here to the bottom and go j equals true, and then I hit start, you can see that it prints true. Let's get rid of that. So that error don't really matter right now. Alright, so an if statement is going to look like this. So if whatever is inside these parentheses is true, it's going to do this. So if it's true, j is going to be true. And if it's false, it's just going to skip it. But we're going to get to this stuff in the next one, so I don't really want to go over it very much right now. So actually, I'm just going to explain these the best I can. I'm going to change this back to I. This is going to be an int I. Okay. So we have 15 and 45. So just using 15 and 45, the double equal sign, that right there, checks to see if the value on the left equals the value on the right. So if 15, so it's basically saying if 15 is equal to 45, then this statement is true. But it's not true, it's false, because they don't. This would have to be 45 in order for it to be true. So it's just checking to see, it's a true or false statement to check to see if they are equal to one another. Now, so in the next one, this symbol means not. So this is checking to see if the value on the left is not equal to the value on the right. If they are not equal, then the value is true, but if they are equal, then the value is false. The next one is the greater than sign. It's going to check if the value on the left is greater than the value on the right. If the value on the left is greater than, the answer will, or the bool will be true. But if it's like this, and the one on the left is less than, then the answer is false. This one does the opposite. This one checks to see if the one on the left is less than the value on the right. So if the value on the left was 15 and the one on the right is 45, then it would be true. If they reversed, it would be false. This one here checks to see if it is the one on the left is greater than or equal to the one on the left or on the right. So if this one was 45 and this one was 15, the answer is true. But if this one's 15 and this one's 15, the answer is true because they're equal. But if this was 15 and this was 45, then the answer is false. And this one does the exact opposite, checks to see if the one on the left is less than the one on the right. That's it for relational. I really hope that made sense. If you've done any kind of math in high school or school in general, I don't know where they're starting it now, but pretty sure you know about relational. If you've ever played Minecraft, you'll know logic gates or logical operands. The double and sign is a logical and. So basically what it's saying if I have 15 and 45, if both values do not equal 0, then it's true. So if this is here and this is here, then it will equal true, or it'll equal false. And a way you can write that is bool, or we can go J equals X and Z, which it only works on an if statement, so from what I understand. Now, the next one, these are called pipes. It's a logical OR. So if either one of the value on the left or the right is a non-zero number, then the answer is true. So as long as they're both not 0, the answer is true. So this one checked both of them to see if both are 0. This one just checks to see if one, or checks both of them to make sure they both aren't 0. This right here is the same thing as up here in relational. The not equal to. This is the logical operand for not, which reverses whatever it says. So say if we wrote, for instance, X, or if we go like this, trying to find my and sign. If we went like that, then it's checking to see if both values, so if both values are 0, then the answer is true. So what it does is it just reverses this right here. So up here, it's checking to make sure that they are not 0. This one's going to check to see if they are 0. So another way to write where is it at? Another way to write this, to make sure they're not equal, would be to write like that. Because now it's checking to see if x, so what it's doing is it's going, if x does not equal y, then it's true. It just does the reverse effect. And that's it for logical. Compound assignments are ones that we've already really worked with a little bit. So this, the equal sign, is just stating that I will equal a value. That's all it is. Assign a value to a variable. This one here, okay, so plus equals. If I put x, if I put I plus equals x, and I has a value of 5, basically what this is saying is that I equals I plus x. So in retrospect, it's saying 5 plus 5, or I equals 5 plus 15. This one is the same thing. This one is saying that, so I minus equals x is the same as saying I equals I, or x minus I. So what it does is it reverses it. So this one is I equals I plus x, the left one plus the right one. This one is saying the right one minus the left one. And the same thing goes with this one. It's I I times equals x is the same thing as saying I equals x times I. And this one is the opposite of multiply. So I divided by equal x is I equals x divided, or I divided by x. And this one is the same as the divide, the modulus. It's I modulus equals x. It actually means I equals I modulus x. Really hope that made sense. So I can get rid of the I equals 5. I don't use these very often. I like writing it out this way. It's less confusing for me. And plus, since I don't use it very much, or actually I've maybe used it once or twice, this is kind of new to me, so, but it's a really good thing to know. Bitwise, we're not going to deal with those right now. Miscellaneous. So, size of, if I would go I equals x dot, or size of x, x is not predefined. Yes, it is. X does not have a predefined size, therefore size of cannot be used in an unsafe context. Oh. Maybe I'm reading that wrong then. Can we just go size of I? No. Okay, I can't really remember how to do those. But this one tells you the size of the data type. Oh, I know what it is now. I equals size of int. So if we hit start, it tells us that the int size is 4. And then if we do string k equals type of I, not type of int, type of I. It's not letting me do it. Okay, I can't remember how to do type of either. Huh. That's weird. Okay, so we're gonna skip that one too, I guess. Now, I'm sorry for how long this is taking, how boring it probably is. Especially with my voice and coughing and everything else. But this is going to be the end of this one. So, operator precedence. This is important because no matter how you write your code, it's going to do it in the order of operations. So I equals, like I have up here, 7 plus 3 times 2 is actually going to be 2 times 3 plus 7. So if I were to go 3, or let's go 2 times 2 plus 4 times 2, it's not going to go 2 times 2 plus 4 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. It's going to go 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 plus 4, I keep wanting to multiply, is 12. So, start, we have 12. Okay, so the order of precedence down here, higher priority list, I don't even know what that's from. In multiplicative, you have multiply, divide, then modulus. So an example would be 2 modulus 2 divided by 5 times 6. This is going to go 6 times 5 divided by 2 and a modulus of 2. So it's going to read backwards. Pretty sure that's how it goes. Yeah. Let me check to make sure. I don't want to get that wrong. Because there was one of them at the bottom that that's part of the bitwise, that it reads from right to left. And I'd just much rather not get them wrong. Yeah, okay, I was right. So I guess that was the only one that reads left to right. Okay, so this next one, I'll leave this up here as an example. This is actually I equals 6 times 5 divided by 2 modulus 2. And then this one here, if we go I equals 3 minus 2 plus 1, it's actually I equals 1 plus 2 minus 3, because addition comes before subtraction. And then in relational, it's going to check to see if the left number is greater than the right number. Then it's going to check to see if the left number is greater than or less than or equal to, I said that wrong in the beginning. So it's going to check to see if 4 is less than 5. Then it's going to check to see if 5, I could have that wrong, because normally you'd have other things involved in this. So really just know that it checks to see if it's less than or equal to, then greater than or equal to. I mean, I could write a quick little, if 4 is less than, see, I don't know if this will work. I don't think it will. Yeah, I didn't think so. So I'm not sure how this comes into play exactly, but that's just the way it'll look. Just like it always looks to see if something is equal to each other before it's not equal. And that about sums it all up. I know this was pretty boring. The next chapter of our crazy boring adventure, well, for you guys, it's not really boring for me, is going to be decision making. So that's whenever it starts getting a little bit more in depth. And I'll break it down into sections instead of doing it all in one video. So, as always, post your questions, comments, and concerns in the comments section below. Hit that like button, and subscribe if you haven't, if you like these videos. If you think I need to explain better, or if you think I'm going too slow, let me know. I will see you in the next video.